We dive into your sources today to grab the most critical takeaways, and this time we're taking a, a really intensely local and specialized plunge.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
We're looking at the essential services that maintain that delicate, often precarious balance between historic urban density and massive natural growth.
That's absolutely right. Our sources today are this unique blend of highly specialized professional expertise, specifically expert tree care.
And we're talking about everything from precise trimming to huge, large-scale removal.
And it's all centered around one historic American place, Hartford, Connecticut.
So the mission for this deep dive isn't just to, summarize a list of services. We want to understand the profound connection between a city's history and the level of technical expertise you need to manage its natural assets.
All right.
We've got service descriptions, safety protocols, client testimonials, and a ton of background on Hartford itself.
Right. We're asking, why is a general landscaper simply not enough when you're dealing with trees that, well, might predate the city's charter? That's the core question.
Okay, let's unpack this.
To really appreciate the technical challenge, I think you have to start with a context. Hartford is the capital of Connecticut, yes, but maybe more importantly, it is genuinely one of the oldest continually inhabited cities in the United States.
Wow.
So when you have buildings that date back centuries, they often share the ground with trees from the same exact vintage.
And it has this really distinct, powerful identity, which is so crucial to the physical environment. Our sources keep mentioning that Hartford is known as the insurance capital of the world.
Right.
And that isn't just a fun piece of trivia, is it? It explains why the city center is so densely developed and has this specific kind of old money infrastructure.
Precisely. That concentration of wealth and corporate history, it translated into these grand historic estates and densely packed commercial districts.
Okay.
And that created the fundamental problem. Deep, mature root systems pushing up against
Priceless, immovable historical foundations.
Exactly. That structural pressure is felt everywhere.
Culturally, the city is just anchored by institutions that mandate preservation. We're talking about places like the Wadsworth Atheneum.
The oldest public art museum in the entire country.
In the country. And, of course, the iconic Mark Twain House, where he wrote Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer.
And these aren't just landmarks. They are specific, really sensitive sites, maintaining the towering oaks and elms that provide shade and atmosphere to the Twain House, for example.
Yeah.
That requires structural pruning, that has to respect historical sightlines and preserve the tree's health, all without risking damage to 19th century brickwork that's just yards away.
So you see this blend of historic structural sensitivity and a very modern environmental appreciation. The material notes that despite its density, Hartford is still surrounded by lush parks and that essential green space provided by the Connecticut River.
That river system provides opportunities for recreation, sure, but it also dictates the water table and soil composition across the whole metro area.
I see.
So local arborists aren't dealing with uniform suburban plots. They're navigating rocky New England soil, high urban runoff, and a microclimate influenced by the river.
So understanding that context is really the bedrock of expert care.
It is.
That's the key takeaway from this first section, isn't it? Managing this kind of landscape is an exercise in applied, localized history. You need professionals who treat the landscape not just as something to be cut,
Right.
but as a priceless, living asset whose maintenance is directly tied to safety and structural preservation.
Which brings us to the core technical services. The sources outline this necessity of professional tree maintenance for Hartford property owners, emphasizing that the value is, far beyond curb appeal. It's about mitigating enormous liability risks.
And when we talk about expert tree care, we need to go deeper than just cutting down trees. Let's start with the most dramatic service, tree removal. When you have trees of significant size, maybe decades old, that are diseased or posing a threat, what separates an expert service from just general labor?
It's the methodology. Near historic structures or power lines, you're rarely just felling a tree. The sources imply some very advanced risk management.
Which means what exactly?
Well, it involves techniques like dynamic cabling or sectional removal using specialized cranes. An expert minimizes the fall radius and ensures that heavy sections are lowered safely, not dropped.
To protect the property or infrastructure next door?
It's a high-stakes logistical operation.
And then on the maintenance side, we have tree trimming. I think your typical homeowner just thinks of trimming as aesthetic, but the sources frame it as precision pruning. What's the technical distinction there?
Precision or structural pruning, it focuses on the tree's long-term health and stability. This isn't about cosmetic cuts. It's about understanding tree biomechanics.
Tree biomechanics.
Yeah, how the wood grain grows under stress and eliminating weak crotches or overly heavy lateral branches that are structurally unsound before a storm hits. This promotes strong, healthy architecture for the whole canopy.
Okay, now, let's get into the cleanup, because stump grinding sounds simple, but you mentioned this has major implications beyond just how it looks.
Oh, it's crucial for disease vector control. If a stump is left to decay, that remaining root system often becomes a highway for pests like carpenter ants or termites.
Leading them right up to a home's foundation.
Exactly. And even more critical in New England is preventing specific fungal pathogens, like the destructive honey fungus, armillaria. It can spread through those residual root structures and infect healthy trees nearby.
So complete grinding eliminates the host material.
It's a key part of landscape sanitation. You're basically doing preventative medicine for the whole property.
That elevates the service from cleanup to crucial preventative maintenance. We've also seen the emphasis on urgency. Storms, especially in the Northeast, they don't wait for business hours.
And this is why the sources highlight their emergency tree removal service, a 247 emergency response. Given the density of Hartford, managing a massive storm-damaged limb that's threatening a building requires not just equipment, but a rapid logistical coordination. The goal is a response time within hours.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. How does a local company manage 2047 rapid response in a complex urban core? I mean, that logistical challenge must be enormous.
Well, it comes down to two things the sources mention: pre-existing deep local knowledge and the right personnel.
Okay.
Which leads us directly to the why choose criteria. And this is what truly elevates them above general landscaping crews. Number one is the human expertise, the certified arborists.
We hear that title a lot, but for you, the listener, what does certified arborist actually mean in this context?
It's proof of technical mastery. Certification requires comprehensive knowledge in areas like tree biology, diagnosing pest and disease pathology specific to local species, soil science,
and advanced rigging and safety protocols.
Yes. They understand the life cycle of the American elm versus, say, the red maple in Hartford-specific soil. They don't just cut. They diagnose and prescribe long-term care plans.
So their knowledge is what makes the equipment matter. They aren't just operating chainsaws, they are using modern, specialized equipment and techniques. The right tools for the job, especially in those congested urban areas.
Exactly. And that specialized knowledge is what allows them to confidently offer competitive pricing and detailed estimates, because they aren't guessing about the scope or the inherent risk.
They know the challenge up front.
They do.
Let's move into the practical application then. Let's mull out specific, actionable knowledge that property owners in the Hartford area would need. One major concern is always when to prune.
Right, and the sources give specific guidance on this, tailored to the New England climate. The ideal time to prune most trees in Hartford is during late fall or winter.
When the trees are fully dormant.
When they're dormant. This timing minimizes stress on the tree, it reduces the risk of insect infestation through fresh wounds, and it ensures optimal energy goes toward a healthy regrowth when spring arrives.
And addressing that primary fear of urban living, safety when large trees are involved. The FAQs confirm their readiness to handle complicated removals, near buildings or power lines, emphasizing strict safety protocols.
And this isn't just marketing speak. It's a commitment required by the dense environment they serve.
We can ground these claims in specific outcomes, too, by looking at the client testimonials they provide.
Yeah, let's do that. Christine L., for instance, she noted their professionalism led to improved tree health and beauty. That's a structural result, not just a quick cleanup.
And Maxine D. highlighted the promptness of the service and the valuable aftercare guidance they received.
That guidance is the difference maker, isn't it? It's the certified arborist ensuring long-term health after the emergency work is done.
Then there's Marvin P.'s feedback, which is maybe the most illustrative of the challenge in these old cities. He had 3 large decayed trees removed.
3 large ones.
And he noted the punctuality, the courtesy, and critically, that the area was left impeccably clean.
Removing 3 large decayed trees without disturbing the urban environment, that's a feat of logistics.
It really is. And that logistical capability requires a massive local reach, which the sources certainly map out. We won't list all 17 neighborhoods they cover in Hartford, but
the point is they are block by block, familiar with downtown, Asylum Hill, Frog Hollow, Nook Farm. The list goes on.
And their service area extends far beyond just the core city. We see this immense local footprint covering key surrounding communities like West Hartford, Manchester, New Britain, Glastonbury.
Salvington, they have regional saturation.
It's a textbook definition of hyperlocal specialization,
Yeah.
which makes this one collaboration mentioned in the source material stand out as, well, as an interesting anomaly.
It's a fascinating detail, isn't it? Because right alongside this deep, dedicated focus on natural, historic New England tree care,
Yeah.
the sources list Henderson Artificial Turf in Henderson, Nevada as a collaborator.
Nevada, that's a world away.
You have the specialized care of centennial living hardwood trees in a temperate, wet climate.
Juxtaposed with a synthetic, low-maintenance turf solution in the arid southwestern desert. It highlights a massive geographical and ecological contrast.
It really does. It raises questions about the scope of the modern landscaping industry linking old-school technical arboriculture with ultra-modern water-saving synthetic solutions thousands of miles away.
It shows a business that's operating on two completely different ecological planets.
It does.
So let's quickly summarize the operational details for anyone needing these services in the Hartford area. Standard business hours are Monday through Friday, 8:500 a.m. to 7:00 p.m.
And Saturday and Sunday, 9:00 a.m. to 5:00 p.m.
But again, you have to keep that critical safety measure in mind.
The 204/7 availability for emergency removal. That remains the core logistical guarantee. And it's essential for a region that's prone to severe weather.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what does this all mean when we zoom out? We've analyzed how certified expertise, the arborists, knowing the local climate, the specific species, the soil composition, the historic sensitivity,
All of it
is the absolute foundation for maintaining safety and historic value in a place like Hartford. The specialized knowledge is what preserves the city's character.
Absolutely. We've established that specialized care is a necessity, not a luxury, when you're dealing with these generational trees. We went from the cultural significance of the Wadsworth Atheneum all the way to the technical details of preventing armillaria fungus via stump grinding.
We've seen how these specialized, geographically focused service providers combine deep technical expertise with local knowledge to protect both the natural and the historical assets of a community.
Which raises an important final question for you to consider. Given the unique soil, climate, and historical context of any old city, how drastically must expert standards for maintenance, like the optimal pruning time, which we noted is late fall winter in Hartford, how drastically must that shift when you move across the country to that collaborator's distant location in Henderson, Nevada? What specific local variables, like monsoon schedules or heat stress tolerance or desert root systems? What governs truly expert arborist-level care in a completely different ecological zone?
That's something to think about the next time you look at a tree in your own community.